Hey, welcome back. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I've made a video. Can't help it. There's really not a whole lot to do every day. Um, to update my medical situation, my healing, it's just being really slow. As of last Thursday, the doctor said another 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm still limiting my movements. However, I'm not completely idle. Today I took the leaf blower, blew off all the leaves and things that collect on the walkway and a carport and a front porch and things, and got that done. Watered my plants. I washed down the tiles with the hose. You know, basically puttering around. It didn't require a lot of movement and a lot of moving around. But then I had this great idea, or an idea. So I thought, hey, I've got this fudge brownie mix that I picked up at S&R a while back. You know, let's make some chocolate chip fudge brownies. Yeah, I did. I'll show you that process. And then about a week and a half ago, I decided to make some cookies. It's been a while since I've done any baking. Probably 5 or 6 years since I've done any baking. So I've got to learn all this again. And then after I made the brownies, which, not bad, they taste pretty good. Chef's got a sample, right? Then I decided, hey, I've got this all-in-one kit for pandesal bread. Pandesal is like dinner rolls, Filipino version. It's a little sweeter, a little tastier. I really like pandesal. I'd never experienced it before I came here to the Philippines, and man, I just go crazy. Christine used to always go and we had a bakery just down the street from my Airbnb, and she would go down there every morning and bring back like 4 pieces of pandesal, and that was our breakfast. That was good. So I decided, let's make some pandesal. Now, I don't know how this is going to turn out. It's in the oven right now. I'll show you at the end of this video how it turns out. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. They're not pretty, but hey, you know, if they taste good, if they taste like pandesal, that's a bonus. I'll take it. So I got those in the oven. Tomorrow, I'm going to bake bread. What do I have to do? I'm limited in my movements. I'm not supposed to be doing a lot of driving around, although, you know, I've been meeting with a friend of mine. He has a business here in Angeles City. Actually, he has 2 businesses, and he's opening a third one, different locations, the same type of business. And I met with him and met another friend of his that's an expat, and you know, we just basically been hanging out and having a good time, you know, and it's 45-minute drive home because I usually come home about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what happens at 5 o'clock. I go up earlier in the day and not much traffic to get there. And he's all the way up by Clark, just not too far from the airport and the former air base. So, you know, we've been going up there, hanging out, swapping some ideas on his business and things. He's getting the new location set up, so yeah, he kind of wanted some advice, I guess. I don't know. Maybe unsolicited advice, whatever. So anyway, yeah, I mean, other than getting bored here, to keep me from getting bored, I should say, I'm doing other things. Baking, I like to bake. At least I used to. And yeah, I'll show you the other stuff. You know, I sent a lot of things over here, buy-on boxes, pans, cookware, my KitchenAid stand mixer. Yeah. Things like that. You know, I got a lot of criticism for, hey, why are you sending all this stuff over? Well, if I had to find it and replace it here, no way. I was looking for bread pans. I went to 6 locations. No, sir, we don't carry those. Okay, well, you know, I went to some of these specialty places. No. So it's a good thing I shipped some over. I went and dug around and unpacked them. Yeah, I found them. So I'll be using those tomorrow to make some bread. You know, it never hurts to make some bread. You know, I can always throw it in the freezer and keep it. It gives me something to do. So anyway, yeah, I sit here and count my toes 30 times a day and see if they're still there, or I can do something else. You know, I can't do any heavy lifting. I can't do any bending. I'd love to be out weeding my garden. I'd love to be out trimming my grass. It's getting out of control. I'd like to be trimming back some plants, things like that. But that all requires bending over. And the doctor says, no, 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 no. Not after I blew the stitches out back on March 2nd. So I listened to him a little bit more. All right, guys, let's see how the Pandasol turns out. Take you through my my chocolate chip fudge brownies, and we'll see how the Pandasol turns out. You know, again, like I say, first time I've ever tried to make it. It's a different kind of formula than regular white bread. So, you know, you learn as you go. You know, just like the cookies I made here about a week and a half ago. You're supposed to only just put a little drop of cookie dough on the sheet, and I put cookie dough like that, and then they turned out about this big. But I mean, they tasted good, but they were really ungainly, and they didn't look pretty. So, you know, you learn as you go. So, you know, what have I got? I've got time on my hands for at least another 2 to 3 weeks. Geez, I really hope this 3 weeks goes. I hope it's only 2 weeks, because I'd really like to get on the motorcycle and do a little riding. Take y'all along with me and show you some of the sights that I see as I'm tooling around out here. You know, some places are really pretty, some places not so much. Some places are downright terrifying, like traffic at 5 o'clock on a Friday. Yeah, it is what it is. You know, you take the good things and you emphasize on those. The bad things, you kind of push those aside. You know, you don't need to elaborate on the bad things, you know, even in your mind. You know, if you accentuate the good things and minimize the bad things, you know, life here is a lot better. You know, we're coming into our hot, dry season. Ay, cool. Yeah, it's very hot, very dry here. Occasionally we get a few drops of rain, but not a whole lot. And I'll tell you what, I'm having to water my garden twice a day, and I'm not sure that twice a day is enough. Yeah, this sun just really bakes everything. So, all right, guys. Well, catch y'all later. I'll show you the final result on the rolls, the Pandasol. And if you get a chance to try some, do so. All right, guys. Catch you on the next one. So today we are going to try to make fudge. Oh, fudge. All right, so I got my bowl, I got my pan, got some good old Crisco. Yeah, and then I'll coat the pan in flour too. And then as a little treat, I'm going to mix in some Hershey's, Kisses, whatever. Anyway, let's see how this turns out. You know, when you don't have anything else to do in your life, bake, right? Okay, so I got my oven heating over here, and we'll see how this turns out. You know, can't do a whole lot right now. I'm kind of confined to home. Don't really get out a whole lot. So, okay, all mixed up, ready to go in the oven. To the oven that goes. We'll see what they look like here in about a half hour, right? All right. One of the problems with cooking here in the Philippines, it calls for one egg, one large egg. We don't have large eggs, just like we don't have large tomatoes here. So I used 2. Well, that's why it's cracking there. But I'm pretty sure that the goodies, I just took these out, so they're still hot. Anyway, you're supposed to let them rest here in the pan for a little while. Then as soon as I take them out of the pan, we'll see, or take this out of the pan before I cut them. We'll see how this turns out. But yeah, the house really smells good. Yeah, that's what I love about baking. All right, guys, let's see how this turns out. I guess we can call that a success. I'll cut these up here in a minute, and I'll put them in a what the hell do they call that? Oh yeah, Rubbermaid container. I don't know why. I just Still thinking Tupperware. God. Does that tell you how old I am? All right, well, we got some goodies here, and in a little while, I'll get started on the pandesal, and maybe a little later tonight, I'll start with the bread. But all that takes a couple hours on the pandesal, and then, I don't know, about 3-4 hours on the bread. But yeah, goodies. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. Yeah, see what I do when I'm recuperating from my. Still recuperating from that cyst removal on my back. Hopefully that'll be done pretty soon. All right. Okay, now we cut these up. And they're nice and moist inside. And they go in these containers. I didn't have the Rubbermaid big ones for some reason. I don't know where they're at. I mean, I've got some sitting over there, but these will work better, I think. These are cheap ones. You get them the market when you buy stuff that's in the sealed package. And we just reuse these little containers. They're okay. They're not the best, but we'll put these in the freezer until I'm ready to eat. All right. And by the way, I haven't used this stand mixer, it's KitchenAid stand mixer, since I shipped it over here from the U.S. But I've got all the attachments inside and things. Still wrapped up in bubble wrap, so I'm gonna unwrap it, clean it up, and then we'll get started with the pandesal. Okay, so one of the ingredients says if you want to coat your pandesal with breadcrumbs, well, these are pretty big. So one of the other things I brought over with me was my, I can't remember what they call it. I don't know, my late wife uses this all the time, but it will make the breadcrumbs into little pieces. And yeah, this is all stone. It's all granite. Anyway, grind that up and make it into a powder. Then I can coat the pandesal before I bake it, and then it won't stick to everything, right? So I'm going to grind these down because I don't have any better breadcrumbs. Hello, it's not focusing. Hello. Or maybe that will. Anyway, so I'm just going to sit here and grind this down. I've already got my mix and my yeast in there. You see the yeast on top. And I'm all ready to go. My bread hook. There's my inverter. It's 3,000 watt. It'll do just about everything I need it to do, but it's kind of big. I'm trying to save up a little bit so I can get a couple of 1500s because I've got a floor robot, a Shark floor robot that I want to use for my floors. In fact, there it is. Let's see. Yeah, over there. And it needs power, but it's 110 volts, and I sent it over. Now, people criticize me for sending so many things over here. This KitchenAid here, it would be close to $1,000 if I bought one here. No, actually, $625 if I bought one here. And everything that I liquidated in the States, I took a loss on, so I didn't want to take a loss on all this other stuff. So some of these things I knew I was going to need here, and yeah, here they are. So, all right, there it is. There it was. I'm going to get this done. I'll show you here as soon as I get mixing. And for the life of me, I don't know why I could not think mortar and pestle. So this is the mortar, and this is the pestle. Again, like I said, it's made out of granite. Really high quality, heavy too. I mean, this thing, you're not gonna just pick it up and move it around without actually getting a good grip on it. So anyway, you see this turned into a pretty good powder. But yeah, mortar and pestle. I don't know why I was having such a hard time thinking about it, but you know, as soon as the camera rolls, that's when you forget everything you were going to say, right? I don't do scripted. So now I'm starting to mix my dough. Love my KitchenAid. As you can see, she's working good. So let me scrape this off the sides here a little bit, and I'll show you when it's about done. Okay, I'm the first one to admit I have never made pandesal before, so I have to assume, since I have made bread in the past, that we're getting really close here to having this done. Now it's starting to stick to the sides again. Doggone it. Had a little ATF here, and I scraped that off the sides, but it was starting to ball up. It's supposed to ball up if it's anything like any other bread I've made. So let me work on this a little bit more. Then after I finish mixing, then I gotta let it rise for 20 minutes. So let me work on this. Like I said, this is my first time, so I'm not quite sure what the consistency is supposed to be, but we're working on it. Okay, so that's how much dough I ended up with. Yeah, I had it resting, or had it rising in here, and boy, did it rise! Man, I'll tell you. Yeah, so I've got to get another pan, and we're gonna have a lot of pandesal. Yay! Oh, sorry. So I gotta let that rest for 10-15 minutes, and then I can start cutting it up into little balls, and we're gonna make our biscuits. That's what they are, basically like dinner rolls, but pandesal for some reason just a little sweeter, and well, everything in the Philippines seems to be sweeter, right? Even the girls, right? Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna let that rest for 10 minutes, and come back when everything is going in. Well, I got them formed. They're not looking pretty, but again, like I said, this is the first time I tried to make pandesal. I'm gonna probably make biscuits one of these days too, dinner rolls maybe. But for right now, well, I'm waiting for the oven to heat up, and we'll see how these things turn out. In the meantime, oh boy, clean up on aisle 5, right? I got a sink full. I got my work cut out for me. Baking is hard. And there's my mixer. It's all ready to go for tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll bake bread. White bread. I had planned on doing it today, but it's getting late. I'm getting tired, and I'll tell you what, this is more like a job. All right, guys, let's see how this turns out. Oh, this pan fold didn't turn out all that great. They're kind of ugly, but they look like they're cooked. They're still pretty warm. I spread a little bit of butter on the top of them and let that melt down just to keep them soft. That's what I do with bread too. And you see some of the butter still trying to melt. This butter here in the Philippines is hard stuff. This one here may not be cooked all the way, or this one here, but I've got the, I'm looking at my fingers here. Got the others here in the oven. They're just finishing up. Ooh, I just got hit with a blast of steam. Sorry about that. Anyway, I turned it off, and I'll just let it, let these kind of cool off a little bit so I can move them off where they're at. And I'll put the other pan up here. Yep. Okay, well, let's see how they taste. All right, so I took the one that I was afraid wasn't all the way cooked, slathered a little bit of butter on there. Let's take a bite out of here and see how this tastes. Okay, so if I had taste division, you guys would really be enjoying this. So I guess it doesn't matter what they look like on the outside as long as they taste good. Pandesal is more open grain than, say, a white bread. And they're really good for holding jams and jellies and peanut butter, things like that. So, all right, guys. Like I said, I guess it doesn't matter what they look like on the outside as long as they taste good on the inside. And boy, these do. All right, let's catch you later.